This afternoon's top stories. Police investigate break-in and larceny at a local business. The death toll rises in Haiti after Hurricane Matthew. And Sudan doctors on nationwide strike in demand of better pay. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Friday, the 7th of October 2016. I am Shaira Flanders. Nationally, the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force is currently investigating a building breaking and larceny at the Adventist Book Center located on Keon Street. Investigations revealed that the center was secured on October 4th. Upon return at about 10:45 a.m. on October 5th, it was discovered that the business had been broken into. Further investigations revealed that a number of items were reportedly missing. The scene was processed by the crime scene unit and the investigations continue. After weeks of heated debate in meetings and local radio stations, the National Carnival Committee has answered the call of local Calypsonians to dismiss a new clause introduced which stated that artists must submit lyrics before performing on stage. In an official Carnival press release on Thursday, Marketing Coordinator Jonelle Rollins spoke of the adjustment to the rules and regulations.
As per the requests of the Calypsonians, Article 6 will not be applied to the Calypso competition. As done normally, the Carnival Committee will formally oversee eliminations through finals of the Calypso and Soca competitions. At each stage, an indemnity clause will be inserted to address intellectual property rights violations.
Rollins also said that it is the intention of the Carnival Committee to uplift the Calypsonians.
The Carnival Committee is committed to the holistic development of all artists and is not in any way attempting to censor the lyrical content of Calypso or restrict the creativity of our local Calypsonians.
Marketing Coordinator for the National Carnival Committee, Jonelle Rollins. The University of the West Indies, UWI, continues to partner with the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, or CFBC, to assist individuals in furthering their tertiary education. Cicely Jacobs, Program Officer in charge of the UWI Open Campus in St. Kitts, said that the university has a memorandum of understanding with CFB as programs are offered on a franchise basis.
One of the programs that is offered is through the Mona campus, is the Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. I think that program started about 2 years ago, and it is offered through, it is a University of the West Indies degree, but the program is run by the CFB College. Yeah. They also offer the Level 1 program. So you may begin a program of study from the St. Augustine campus or any of the other campuses, but St. Augustine has the franchise. They offer those the first year of that program. At the end of that first year, students at the CFB may opt to continue their degree in any of the other campuses.
According to Ms. Jacobs, persons who start their degree at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College can also opt to finish their degree at the Open Campus.
We are 100 feet up in the air. You know what it is. The donkey want water. Bring back your daughter. Bring back your water.
I think the next generation is a great motivator. I'm not done yet. You know, I'm far from done.
Up and out, bring your chest, bring your chest, bring your chest. Man down.
Let me go!
Yo, this is Shaggy, and you're watching the Tony Thorne Show. Yeah, #1, Mr. Lover Sessa. All right.
Tune in.
Yes, we infecting more.
Now you can watch the Road to Elections 2015 on demand on our website, www.zizonline.com. Hear from the persons directly involved and relive the defining moments that led to the historic victory of the nation's first tripartite coalition. The Road to Elections 2015 on zizonline.com.
Hi, I'm Carla Burridge. Join me weekdays at 7 p.m. for ZIZ's evening newscast. We'll let you know what's happening in your community.
And on the regional scene, The death toll in Haiti as a result of Hurricane Matthew, the most powerful Caribbean storm in a decade, has soared to more than 300, officials say. Hundreds have been killed and thousands made homeless by the destruction caused by the now Category 3 storm. Sarah Duffy has that story.
Hundreds have been killed and thousands made homeless in Haiti by the destruction caused by Hurricane Matthew. The storm completely leveled parts of southwest Haiti as it tore through the area earlier this week. As Matthew continued to threaten Florida and the southeastern United States, victims in Haiti have started to try to pick up the pieces. The death toll in the country as a result of the most powerful Caribbean storm in a decade has soared to more than 300. Some in the area count themselves lucky just to be alive.
But by God's grace, we had no death. But right now, most people lost everything, their clothing, their clothes, their shoes, their home, and so they have no shelter. And so that's why I come back to see what can be done.
With many hospitals without power and short on supplies, Haiti is already struggling to care for some of its sick and those injured in the hurricane. Non-governmental organisations said phone coverage and electricity were down and people were running out of food and water. Most of the deaths in Haiti were in towns and fishing villages around the southern coast, with many killed by falling trees, flying debris and swollen rivers.
The lives of 11 Guyanese who perished in the bombing of the Cuban aircraft 40 years ago were remembered on Thursday. Javon Vickery has that story.
October 6, 2016 is the 40th anniversary of the bombing of the Cuban aircraft in flight, in which 11 Guyanese, among several other persons, were killed during what was initially called the Cuban Air Disaster. It is now deemed a terrorist attack. In a ceremony to mark the 40th anniversary of that incident, President David Granger referred to it as one of the deadliest terror attacks in the Western Hemisphere. He also observed that most of the victims were Cubans and citizens of countries that had been developing friendly diplomatic relations with Cuba during the era of the Cold War.
The terrorist attack constituted an assault on the freedom-loving peoples of the Caribbean. It was an attack on the right of the small states of the region to determine their international relations in their own national interest.
President Granger also recalled the efforts that were made by the affected countries to have the suspects extradited from the United States for trial.
Guyanese today remember the victims of the Cuban terrorist attack. We are assembled here before a monument to memorialize the human cost of terrorism and to consider the political cost of small states which seek to exercise their sovereignty and independence. We intend that by remembering the horror of the past at this solemn commemoration, we could spare present and future generations of Caribbean citizens the recurrence of such a transnational crime.
The 11 Guyanese who died in the Cuban air attack are now referred to as martyrs. They were students en route to Cuba for their studies, accompanied by relatives. Javon Vickery, HGP Nightly News.
And on the international scene, hundreds of doctors in Sudan are holding a national strike demanding better pay. The three-day protest, which began on Thursday, is also calling for better working conditions and improved security. Al Jazeera's Mohammed Val explains.
Being a medical worker in Sudan is challenging. Hospital staff say they often work in poor conditions and even face risks to their lives. Dr. Abdul Hamid says he has narrowly escaped after being shot at by a relative of a patient in this hospital in Khartoum a few weeks ago.
We received a patient in the ER, so I rushed to rescue him, carrying with me all the necessary resuscitation equipment. To my surprise, the person escorting him pulled out a gun and shot at us inside the ward. The unit was full of patients, their families and medical crews. This is unbelievable. I am totally surprised.
The relatives of patients say the reasons behind attacks like this have to do with negligence on the part of doctors.
If a patient is brought into the hospital and is not attended to by any doctor or nurse, do you expect me to not assault such a doctor, the hospital staff, the director of the hospital, and even the director of the health department?
Doctors say they are being punished for the lack of medicine and proper equipment in government-run hospitals.
One patient needed surgery and his chest cut open, but when they decided to transfer him to the Al Shab hospital, where chest-related cases are treated, there was no ambulance to take him. In the end, the patient died. May he rest in peace. The doctors were so upset. What can a doctor do in a situation like that?
Sudan's doctors have been protesting over working conditions for years as the attacks against them continued. The health ministry says it's working to address the problem, and the government has promised to provide the needed equipment to the hospitals. But many doctors say the situation is not getting better and they're losing patience. Hundreds of them have launched a nationwide strike. They're demanding an end to physical attacks and want the government to improve what they describe as their miserable salaries and working conditions. Mohammed Val, Al Jazeera.
Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has offered amnesty to fighters in rebel-held eastern Aleppo if they lay down their arms as pro-government forces make gains north of the besieged city. Mana Rabi has the details.
Syrian pro-government forces are making advances on rebels north of Aleppo.
Yusuf Khamnas, Yusuf.
A UK-based monitoring group confirms some of those gains and says fierce battles are raging on other fronts near the besieged city. The gains come after 2 weeks of the heaviest bombings on rebel-held eastern Aleppo in nearly 6 years of war. The offensive has killed hundreds of people there and torpedoed a US-backed Syria peace initiative. In western Aleppo, where the government has maintained control, the contrasts couldn't be greater. Residents dance away their worries at this nightclub, the best escape, they say, from the dark realities of war on the other side of their city.
There is nothing else we can do. We have to make ourselves happy in these circumstances that we're living in.
President Bashar al-Assad offered amnesty on Thursday to fighters in eastern Aleppo if they lay down their arms, but the rebels say they have no plans to evacuate. Analysts say Aleppo will eventually fall, but even that, they say, won't likely end the Syrian war.
And now for the weather. Present weather is partly cloudy with adjacent showers. Winds are light at 7 miles per hour from the north-northeast. Seas are moderate with waves up to 6 feet. Small craft operators are asked to remain cautious. Skies today will be cloudy at times with scattered showers. Tonight, conditions will be partly cloudy to cloudy with scattered showers. Sunset today will be at 5:55 p.m. and the sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:02 a.m. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Shaira Flanders. Have a good day.